This is one hell of an apocalypse. In the days of darkness, when there is no hope for light, the only thing you can do is try and survive. Steel Dawn, the 1987 post-apocalyptic action flick that has as much heart as it does adventure. The plot: while living in the wasteland, Nomad, played by Patrick Swayze, rest in peace, is not only appropriately named, but attacked by a group of walrus, lobster-looking guys, tyrants, whatever. After easily dispatching of them rather quickly, he makes his way to a tavern where he meets his old friend, Cord, played by John Fujioka. He used to be the new peacemaker between the distributors of a water source. Call Nomad a clumsy coward, or call him befall into the beverage, but he is knocked out by what is probably a drug of some sort, and just lays there while he watches his old friend Cord being slayed by a fabulous assassin, Sho, played by Christopher Nieme. Therefore, Nomad makes his way to the water refinery and offers his services. As things begin to go downhill because of Damn Nell, a bad guy, the bad guy, well, that's debatable. It is up to Nomad to show them who's Swayze and who's just fucking dead. Around the same time the hit Dirty Dancing came out, Patrick Swayze was but a man looking for work in the acting business. He had played the main character in Red Dawn, and was now looking to take on the lead in Steel Dawn. No relation between the two Dawn films. You could call it the Dawn of the Swayze because his career took off after films like Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse, Ghost, and Point Break, all of which came pretty much after Steel Dawn. This is basically a run-of-the-mill post-apocalyptic action movie. However, where it really shines is with its two lead performances. Patrick Swayze as Nomad is the calm, cool, and collective type who doesn't take shit from any bad guy. He's a skilled fighter and an easy contender for a multitude of man crushes for many men. Not me, of course. I'm quite as straight as a stick. Then there's the fabulous Sho, whose mullet could be a home for all sorts of bird nests, insects, and hair product. He is one of those flagrantly homosexual bad guys that do take up quite a bit of these post-apocalyptic flicks. Why is this a thing? I mean, I get there's probably a shortage of women in the games, but still. Something also worth mentioning is that Lisa Niemi, who plays Kasha, was actually married to Swayze up until the time of his death, via cancer. She is not the best actress per se, but she does give it her best shot. Tark, played by Brian James, not Brian, that's not how it's spelled, it's Ron, I'd say is kind of the meathead of the characters. He means well, but doesn't fully comprehend what could come of some of his actions. He gets upset when Nomad moves in on Kasha and her son because he wants to look after them. He feels they don't need him anymore. It's kind of a coin toss as to if his actions are right or wrong half the time, but he is still good at heart. Speaking of Kasha's son, Jux, played by Brett Toole, is the director's, Lance Toole's, real-life son. He hasn't done much in the industry, nor does he contribute much to the movie. However, the similarities to him and Anakin from the first Star Wars movie, the Phantom Menace one, are quite jarring. Take what you will from this, but a blonde kid, hell-bent on building a racing vehicle, whose father is dead and his mother, now a widow, is enough to make you start thinking. Arnold Vosloo, the Mummy from the Stephen Sommers Mummy movies, is a side character here and does have some fun scenes to work with. Steel Dawn is a fun movie. It has lots of action and fight scenes, including a couple great sword battles between Shoei and Nomad. Even though it's kind of shallow and unoriginal, that's come to be expected in this subgenre. Post-apocalyptic action movies are a dime a dozen. It's what you do to make them cool that sells them. The gore, the effects, we get a great decapitation sequence, a sharp impaling. See what I did there? And there's some blood via cuts and stabbings. Nothing too graphic, but enough to warrant it the R rating it so proudly wears. Hell, I have the uncut version. It's a German release, but it looks great. There isn't much in terms of effects in this movie. We do, however, get some great visuals, such as a ship that has stayed stationary while the waters around it dried up. It's a great sight to behold, and it makes you wonder how it got there. There is a reason, but I don't remember what it is. The motion picture soundtrack, Brian May, rest in peace, also composed scores for Mad Max 1 and 2, Missing in Action 2, Dr. Giggles, and more. I think the music is good from what I remember. I'll have to give it a second watch to listen more closely. With a $3.5 million budget, it accomplished a lot. Lance Hool, who had more success producing but also directed Missing in Action 2, wanted to make a movie that paid homage to the 1953 Western classic Shane. I haven't seen Shane, but I do know that people think the comparisons are great. I did really enjoy Steel Dawn. While it is not the best post-apocalyptic movie ever, I still think it has some great qualities. The visuals, music, and most of the characters have a lot to offer, and I give the movie credit where credit's due. Overall, I give Steel Dawn a 3.5 out of 5. I am Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and to leave comments and subscribe.